The interesting thing about Jamaica's development is that technology is the driving force behind many initiatives we're seeing today, and that's deliberate because our government understands the need to adopt and move along the lines of global development. And much of that includes, as you would have guessed, technology. Whether you are tech savvy or not, what we have packaged today will surely make a big difference in your life as it moves to make living in Jamaica a little easier. This is your Wednesday edition of Jamaica Magazine. I'm Theodore Henry. Welcome.
Good day, I'm Stephen McHugh, and this is your JIS News for Wednesday, July 20. The House of Representatives has passed a bill to amend the Transport Authority Act, paving the way for the operationalization of the 2018 Road Traffic Act. Amendments to the Transport Authority Act complement the 299-point regulations to enact the Road Traffic Act, which was recently passed in the lower house. As he piloted the bill during Tuesday's sitting, Justice Minister Delroy Chuck said the amendment would end the lawlessness, chaos, and carnage on the nation's roads.
There's no doubt that we see the indiscipline that occurs on the road. And to be sure, Madam Speaker, we need these road traffic regulations and the Act itself to come into operation so that the work of the police can be improved, and also that when they do issue tickets, that indeed there can not only be compliance, but road users can really comply with the various rules of the roads.
The amended Transport Authority Act includes a provision for a maximum fine of $500,000 or up to 6 months in jail for use of abusive or calumnious language to an inspector in carrying out his or her duties. Meanwhile, Jamaicans wishing to purchase electric vehicles will find it easier to do so. This as government has reduced the import duty to 10% and eliminated the license fees for a period of 5 years. The new duty and the removal of license fees will apply to electric vehicles that are 3 years old or less at the time of importation. Those provisions were tabled and passed as part of the Road Traffic License Duties Order 2022 and the Road Traffic License Duties Order 2022 resolution. The House of Representatives also approved the Customs Tariff Revision Amendment No. 2 Resolution 2022. Finance Minister Dr. Nigel Clarke, who piloted the resolutions, said the decision to incentivize the import duty and license fees supports government's push for a transition to electric vehicles. It's expected that by 2030, much of the state's general fleet should be electric vehicles.
We recognize that these are not panaceas, but they represent a significant step and a significant concession to facilitate Jamaicans and in the acquisition of battery electric vehicles. And the government of Jamaica, through the MSET, intends that by the year 2030, 1.1 million metric tons of carbon dioxide we would reduce our output of CO2 by that amount.
The license fee exemption is retroactive to July 14 and has been sent for gazetting. In other news, preparatory works have commenced for construction to start on the $6 billion Morant Bay Urban Center in St. Thomas. Initial works include the demolition of buildings and the clearing of land in and around the Goodyear tire factory. During a recent tour of the site, Prime Minister Andrew Holness expressed satisfaction with the progress made on the project. He said once completed, the development would bring vast opportunities to the parish.
Already you see what is happening in Kingston with the construction of residential and commercial real estate. And land in Kingston, available lands for development is scarce. So the development push will be along this corridor, and it will come as far as to this point. So I am certain that this project will be economically viable and that this project will become the center of activity for the parish.
The 436,000 square foot space will house more than 50 government and private sector entities, including the municipal corporation, the parish court, a university, a library, and business process outsourcing companies. Over 3,000 new jobs are expected to be derived from the project, with 80% of the labor force being sourced locally. The civil and economic project is being spearheaded by the Factories Corporation of Jamaica, with construction being done by China Harbor Engineering Company. Funding is coming from the National Commercial Bank and other financial institutions. Already, interest has been expressed in occupying all the buildings and facilities planned for the center. In the meantime, Prime Minister Andrew Holness is calling for patience as the government continues its build-out of the eastern leg of the Southern Coastal Highway Improvement Project. During a recent tour of the project, the Prime Minister revealed that the National Works Agency, NWA, had been instructed to make the necessary provisions to ease the level of discomfort being experienced by residents and road users. Those efforts have already begun and include reducing dust nuisance, giving residents access to roadways, as well as paving segments. The Prime Minister also disclosed that the NWA was tasked with improving drainage to allay concerns about possible flooding due to the new road alignment.
In one instance, a community has reached out to say that the new alignment will have significant economic and commercial dislocation for them. As best as possible, we are trying to accommodate that community, that is a community of Grand Spend.
Minister with responsibility for information, Robert Morgan, says he's pleased that Jamaica has become a pioneer in the adoption of digital switchover technology. This technology is called the Advanced Television Systems Committee, ATSC 3.0, also referred to as Next Generation TV. It will see the country transitioning from analog to a digital television transmission DTT system.
We have seen the vision and we have seen the potential and we have seen the opportunities. And I think it's credit to our local companies and their leaders that they have recognized how important it is to leapfrog the technology and move forward ahead of other countries.
Minister Morgan was addressing the recent ATSC Jamaica Bootcamp and seminar in Montego Bay, St. James. He says the evolution of the ATSC 3.0 standard will see more Jamaicans having access to information to improve their lives.
It will improve how Jamaicans receive information, not just in terms of the quality, as in the broadcast quality, but also in terms of the types of information that they receive.
And finally, school administrators are being reminded that registration packages at the secondary level should be no more than $6,000. The Ministry of Education and Youth issued the reminder in a bulletin on Tuesday. The ministry also reiterated that there should be no registration costs for primary schools. According to the Education Ministry, every child has a right to an education, and school administrators are being urged not to breach that right. Schools have also been instructed not to increase the parent contribution for the upcoming academic year in September. In relation to secondary school registration packages, all charges must first be approved by the ministry before they are effected. The Education Ministry also shares that non-payment of fees cannot and should not affect students or parents' acceptance of school placement or registration. School administrators are advised to work with parents to establish flexible payment schedules or plans for services or materials that must be procured. And that's it for JIS News Today. I'm Stephen McHugh. Thanks for watching.
What a way you're full of our roots and culture. That was in Jamaica 60. Jamaica 60? What a piece of news, Miss Matty. I feel like my heart going bust up.
Just in, the island of Jamaica is on the verge of celebrating its 60th year of independence.
A holy way of celebrating it. They say the people them come here, you know. But you see, when our people decide, say the other people them free paper, burn up, them say if it's war, start it, whatever. We all collect medal, panta fight, you know.
Medal.
Amount of tongue. We give them in a tongue.
The celebrations are slated to begin on January 1st, 2022. Organized by the Ministry of Culture, Gender, Entertainment and Sport. We have more in this report.
I am on site and planning activities are ablaze. Persons are advised to download the Reggae Jamaica app to know what it pre. Activities for the Jamaica 60 celebration.
I don't know the app to get the updates then.
Our first development for today is in the area of transport operations. The Transport Authority recently launched an app to make traveling in public passenger vehicles much safer. Here's a look.
Innovations in transportation technology are at an unparalleled high, with creative solutions being crafted to help us get from one point to the next, but using efficiency, ease, and safety for propulsion. These transportation technologies are ranging from autonomous vehicles to a switch from gas gulping to electric cars, or using technologies such as artificial intelligence, augmented reality, and mobile apps to enhance the driver's experience. Here in Jamaica, as we push to join in on this global move, we've launched our very own online training app for public passenger vehicle or PPV operators, dubbed the TAPV Train app.
Edifocal has partnered with the Transport Authority and BCIC to create the TAPPV Train learning app. Now, what this does is it came as a direct response to the COVID pandemic, because before the PPV operators were accustomed to doing their classes in a face-to-face setting. So there was a direct need now to bring the training to them virtually. And so that is where this whole partnership came into being, where we created the content, put it in a virtual format, also put it on the platform so that it would be readily available to the PPV operators for them to be able to, continue upskilling and reskilling.
The app is being used to facilitate PPV drivers training in the use of the road code, defensive driving, and customer service by way of a gamified format. But the features are far more futuristic and trailblazing.
We took a simple, sophisticated approach when designing this app. We wanted to make sure that everything that they need is available to them. So it would be as simple as them just logging in to the portal. They just log on to the app domain, tappvtrain.com. They'll be prompted to enter their username, which is their TRN, and their password would be the receipt number that they'd get from Transport Authority. So when they pay for the course, they go to Transport Authority and pay for the course, they'd receive a receipt number that would serve as their password or their access pass to the app. Once they log in, all the courses are there. It's a series of 4 courses spanning delivering quality customer service, maintaining professionalism, defensive driving, and there's also a module there that seeks to inform them about the roles and the functions of the Transport Authority.
And here's possibly the best part for PPV drivers using this app. It's completely zero rated.
So what that means is on all mobile networks, whichever mobile network you receive service from, you'd be able to access the platform without even having data on your phone, without even having to have service on your phone. So, that is one of the things that makes this app so revolutionary in terms of it being fully accessible, because we have to consider persons living in areas where there might be challenges accessing internet, and we want to make sure that everybody gets a fair chance to be able to access the information.
And the security plan for your data was a strategically thought out one.
The data is stored on our servers that are encrypted, and we have taken stringent cyber protection and privacy measures to ensure that we have secured ourselves and secured our users' data from any potential attack.
Engagement has been hitting an all-time high, with more and more PPV drivers signing on to this revolutionary idea.
Prior to launch, we had a beta test control group who viewed the content, and the feedback was really overwhelming and great. So what is happening now is we are in the process of onboarding a little bit over 2,000 PPV operators now. to serve as our first cohorts.
This $13 million game changer for our transportation industry represents the Ministry of Transport's push to use technology to improve and strengthen its operations. By March of this year, all drivers and conductors will be able to fully unlock its functions right from their iOS and Android-powered devices.
The tinting of your windscreen, cut it out. Public passenger vehicles, according to the Transport Authority Act, not supposed to have tints. I'm appealing to motorists out there. We have removed many plates because of fandangles that are on the motor vehicle. Colorful lights, red light, purple light, blue light, and these multicolored lights. Get them off. I've noticed some trends out there where there is different type of license plates on motor vehicles. Only the Jamaican issued driver's license plates are to be on the motor vehicles. Once you transport any passenger in a motor vehicle, ensure that they are buckled, whether they are on the front or they are on the back. The seatbelt gives people a fighting chance to survive the crash. Many people have died who never give themselves a fighting chance.
After learning how to use the TravelPal app, here's a quick tutorial on how to change your vehicle tire if you ever need to.
I have absolutely no idea what this is or what it's even used for. But today on Autospot, I'm going to be learning all about tires, and who knows, I might even end up changing one myself.
A tire is a ring-shaped component that surrounds the rim, which helps to cushion the road feel and offer traction and stability of the vehicle. You have all-purpose tires, which can use in all terrain. You have wet tires. For wet tires, it's for like wet road condition. You can't use a dry tire in the wet season. You get slippage. For the tire to be completely functional, you need the rim, you need air to be inflated in the tire to get it to the correct air pressure so that it's suitable for road condition. A cold tire is when the temperature inside the tire is reduced to like normal road temperature. At that time is the correct time to check the air pressure within the tire to give you an accurate reading. For the hot tires now is when you're driving on the road for a long duration of time and the heat inside the tire builds up and increases the pressure inside the tire. Tire inflation is the pressure inside the tire, which can be in kilopascal, bars, or PSI. There's an instrument called the tire pressure gauge, which I have here with me. You use to take the tire pressure. I can demonstrate for you. First, we'll have to remove the dust cap from off the tire. Place the tire pressure gauge on the tire valve, and it automatically pushes out the tire pressure gauge and give you the correct reading.
The driver still needs to play a big role in the safety of the vehicle on the road. Now, we see a lot of vehicles coming into our premises at our body shop, and we see a lot of accidents that could have been easily prevented. People texting, people not paying due care and attention when they're on the road. Now, Jamaica had over 370 odd deaths last year on the road. There's a big target to get it under 300 this year, and that can easily be achievable if people just pay a bit more care and attention when they're driving on the road.
The tyre normally has a manufacture date on the side. From that date in which the tyre was produced, you can know when the tyre needs to be changed. Within 4 to 6 years of the manufacture date, the tyre is due for replacement.
But what if I'm on the road and I have a flat tire? What do I do?
Okay. The first step is to park the vehicle in a secure location, flat surface. Pull up the emergency handbrake, ensure that the vehicle don't run back or anything. Then you gather your tools, including a jack, lug tool for the job. Alright. Here you have the lug. You're gonna place the lug tool on that, ensure that the correct lug tool is fit perfectly, and you push it down in the anti-clockwise position.
Okay.
And you do that for all 5 lugs.
Okay, and it's usually 5 lugs?
No, some vehicles carry 4, some carry 5, some carry 6. But for this application, it's 5.
Okay. So what else do you do after that?
After you remove the lugs, you remove the complete wheel and you have it all for yourself. Then you go for your spear and place it back on here and screw on back. You tighten back your lugs.
Alright, so this is what you use to tighten it back?
Yeah, this is the lug tool.
So you're going in the other direction?
Yeah, clockwise. Turning. And you always tighten diagonal. Right, you tighten in the clockwise direction.
So which one? Which one you tighten first?
It can be anyone, but you have to tighten in diagonal. This, then this, and this. Yeah. Cross and cross. So the tire go on, the wheel go on even. And then let down the vehicle, and then you finally torque the lugs to make sure that they are correctly tight.
Where do we usually find the spare tires?
Alright, depending on the vehicle type, sometimes the spare is under the vehicle and the back of the trunk or inside the trunk.
So it's not as simple as it seems, but it's clearly doable. It's all in a day's work, well, at least for a newbie like me. But really it should take about 10 to 15 minutes to change. I can promise you there's so much value in learning to get the job done. I certainly feel accomplished.
The wait is over. After a 2-year hiatus, the Denby Agricultural, Industrial and Food Show is back. The 68th staging is set to begin on July 23 at the Denby Showground in Maypen, Clarendon, under the theme, Grow Smart, Eat Smart.
We want energy. We want excitement. We want us to be aggressively moving.
This year's show returns with Villages for Youth in Agriculture, Children, Health and Wellness Village, along with livestock and agricultural and horticultural displays and much more. Festivities commence on Saturday, July 23 with a Farmers Run Walk in Clarendon. The National Farm Queen Coronation and youth activities are set for Saturday, July 30. Sunday, July 31 begins a High Pro Denby Gospel Extravaganza for patrons. For the finale on Monday, August 1, the event will culminate with a showcase of Jamaica's culture.
Denby 68 will be a great event. It will be entertaining, it will be exciting.
Gates open from 8 a.m. to 10 p.m. daily. Admission $1,200 for adults and $600 for children. Tickets will be available at the gate.
Next up, a look at how technology is simplifying the process of doing business in Jamaica.
Picture this. You're a busy entrepreneur working hard to grow your business. At the wharf to be cleared are the materials needed to make your products. You are required to visit several government offices and fill out multiple forms with similar information to complete this activity, spending time on the trading process that could otherwise be invested in your business. For you, this may just be a mental exercise, but for many entrepreneurs in Jamaica, it is the reality of trade. A reality that will change with the introduction of the Jamaica Electronic Single Window for Trade. An electronic single window ESW is an IT platform that facilitates the efficient clearance of cargo.
An electronic single window is expected to bring simplification, harmonization, and facilitation on international trade transactions under a robust electronic environment. This will bring facilities for customs brokers, government officials to interact with a computerized systems that will have a set of business rules that will allow the traders to fulfill all regulatory requirements, submit all the required data, and be able to complete their transactions in a single and seamless system.
With that electronic single window for trade, clearly it's an electronic form, and that will be filled out one time at your convenience, online, and then behind the scene, the BRAs, the Border Regulatory Agency, will collaborate to ensure that your application is accepted.
The agencies connected to the system will be able to grant the necessary permits, licenses, and approval for the release of merchandise. When approval is given, the trader receives a notification and can then proceed to collect or send off goods. The introduction of an ESW will reduce the cost and time it takes to import and export goods, creating a more enabling environment for local entrepreneurs and foreign investors.
Where we can develop and implement a system where all the transactions can take place through a particular port or point or window in this instance, it makes doing business easier. By extension, therefore, it is expected that the interest in conducting business will be improved, will be increased, and investors will see Jamaica as an even more attractive investor destination. On the other side, it also will aid in the collection of revenue, where we can have a greater throughput of trade and of activity, which by extension generates even much more in terms of the economy.
Implementation of the ESW began in August 2018, and the timeline for completion is 36 months. Over 20 border and regulatory government agencies will connect to the platform. The entity responsible for collecting revenue from trade, the Jamaica Customs Agency, is the lead implementing agency.
The electronic single window system will be fully integrated, of course, with the Ascuda World system. They're both built on the Ascuda World platform. That information will be passed seamlessly from the electronic single window into the customs management system. And that, of course, reduces time and complexity, having a single point of contact and simplification of information. So that transparent environment, having that electronic track and trace, and of course, ensuring that persons are carrying out their functions within the agreed time frame.
The ESW is projected to reduce the number of entities a trader comes in contact with from as much as 5 to 1. In the future, this is how a trader could be making arrangements for the clearance of goods. The Jamaica Electronic Single Window, facilitating efficiency in trade, contributing to a robust business environment, a part of the framework for making it easier to do business with Jamaica.
Next part I show they cut it. Talking about that, listen to this. A pen sends a message. Disaster will happen. Be prepared. The municipal corporation reminds us of hurricane, earthquake, flooding, you name it, and preparedness.
Mommy, we really have to take this thing seriously. Mommy, where's the emergency shelters? Samir.
Primary school, churches, community centers. Know your nearest emergency shelter. Protect your family during any natural disaster. Be prepared. Visit the ODPEM website at odpem.org.jm to find the shelter listing for your parish. Know your emergency shelters.
Here's where we end things for today. Thanks for the daily half-hour invitation into your day, but more time can be had with us simply by visiting the JIS website at www.jis.gov.jm. On behalf of the entire JIS production team, I'm Theodore Henry. Take good care.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.